Thursday. What's up, Arif? What's up, Idara? Good to see you. Welcome in, everybody else that's watching. Happy Thursday. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to be hanging out today with you guys and doing a show where we design, we make some new things, we enjoy. What's up, Lucas? Good to see you. Yeah, we do something new. We enjoy design, creating new ideas, new things. And then at the same time, we kind of talk and learn a little bit in the process. And then I'll review some of your designs. So if you haven't submitted your designs inside of the Discord for Adobe Live, I invite you to go and do that into the Adobe Live Discord, and then go into the On the Spot channel, and you can submit your designs. I'll be reviewing some of them today. It's so good to see you guys after the last week's break. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a while, and I know it's only been 2 weeks, but I'm just excited to be here. And I'm repping I have a Mexico jersey. Mexico's playing right now. In fact, I was playing the game on my phone. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to have it right here on the side so I can give you guys some updates on the game. And I can also sort of like keep up with it myself. Mexico's winning right now 1-0. They were kind of dominating, honestly, the game. Hopefully they keep doing it. Yeah, and it just keeps, I don't know, being a cool game. Who are you guys going with in the World Cup? I feel like I have some teams that I want to know what teams you're going with, and then what teams you don't want them to win. There's always teams that we go with, and then other teams that we definitely don't want them to win. At least for me, that's my case. I'm like, dude, I know, Marsha. I feel the same way. It seems like forever. So good to see you guys. Good to see you, Luca. Good to see you, Marsha, Arif. Yeah, so I'm so excited. I live in Dallas, and we're hosting a few games here in Dallas. So there's already a lot of stuff happening in the city. I'm really excited for a few teams. My wife is Mexican, so a Mexico team I'm supporting. Obviously, I'm wearing the jersey today. I'm supporting the USA because I live in the USA. I'm supporting a little bit of Argentina because I love Messi and he's my favorite player. I also think Arif wants Brazil to win. What's up, Dinah? Good to see you, man. What's up? Man, I feel like I want, who was I saying? Messi. And then if Cristiano wins with Portugal, I wouldn't mind that, because Cristiano is it's a legend. It's cool if he wins. I feel also like probably I'm giving a whole, this is a design thing. We're going to design in a second, but I just wanted to get into the soccer. It's the World Cup. It's opening. The opening match is happening right now. So it makes sense. So what was I saying? Okay. Portugal. I love the Spanish team. I feel like they're fun to watch, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win. The team that I don't want them to win, and probably some of you guys are going to hate me for this, is France. For some reason, I don't like France. I feel like France is too much, man. They're too much. I don't like them. Thank you, Dara, for sharing the Discord on the chat. Please check out the chat. Go to Discord. Submit your designs. I'd love to see them. And you're watching the game right now. Yeah, I have it over here on the second screen. I'm watching it as we speak. So if anybody scores, I'll keep you guys updated. And I'm sure you guys are going to be watching too. So share on the chat. Who do you want to win the World Cup? I saw that Arif said I want Brazil to lift the 6th trophy. I wouldn't mind that. Brazil is a cool team. I feel like they're like my childhood team. I grew up in Cuba, and we didn't have a team that would go to the World Cup, so I always support Brazil. Obviously, back then it was like Cafu and Ronaldo and all the greats were playing back then. But yeah, so Brazil for sure would be cool. Can't agree with you. I don't want France to win. Yeah, I'm on the same page, man. I don't know why. Like Mbappe, that's not it. I'll be happy for Dembele though. I think Dembele is killing it. Anyways, so, okay, go to Discord, leave your design in there. If you don't have your design, you don't want to, if you haven't been able to share it, I think Lucas was saying that he's trying to share his design, but he can't. Can you share a link to your Instagram with the design, or a link to somewhere that we can see it real quick? That'll be sick. All right, let me share my screen real quick, and then we'll take a look at, let me turn on the do not disturb here. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to do this right before the show, just in case somebody calls me in the middle of the show or something. But I'll go to Discord, and then I'll take a look at some of your designs. Oh, here it is. Look at, you were able to share. Cafu was great. I agree with that. Yeah, who else do you guys want to win the World Cup? Do you have any teams that you support, that you follow? Also, while you're thinking about that, go ahead, please, and like this video so that other people on YouTube see it, and follow this page. If you haven't followed the Adobe Live page, go ahead and do that as well. All right, managed to share on Discord. Awesome, Lucas. I'm seeing it right here. All right, so we have 2 designs that we're going to be reviewing today. We have the Arif who shared this photo. He combined these Adobe stock images over here on the top, and then you make this sort of concept following images. I created a water ripple effect, dropping the stone, the background geometry, and the split frames in the image were built to replicate the overlapping rings of water ripples, creating an original structure of color separation. Use portrait styles filters, apply in the metal frame. In the right corner, I implemented a glitch effect. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Art, if you've been trying some of these different things we've seen every week, good job on this. Thank you for submitting, man. I like the glitch effect. I think it's pretty cool. Splitting the RGB channels like that. Pretty cool. I see that you're trying different things. Thank you for submitting, bro. I really appreciate it. Really cool. And then we have Lucas over here. Lucas, thank you for submitting this design. Let's take a look. You guys, this is my contribution this week. I like the final result of how I used the colors and how I added the patterns. I also did frame by frame because I like the idea of how it follows the flowers looked around her face. I agree. I think these flowers following the contour of her face, the little nosebleed thing, the eyes, and it looks super cool. Another really cool contribution. I feel like even the coloration of the red over here and on this centerpiece, and the pattern looks really cool. Thank you for submitting another great creation, man. Amazing. You and Arif, man, you guys are always submitting and always have really cool designs. Both of you on your different paths of what you're doing. This is super cool. Like this gift of this image happening on top of her head. It's almost also like we're like looking at her thoughts and what she's thinking a little bit, which is really cool. But yeah, I was saying that, you know, like the beauty of this is like you're both in different paths, both like learning different stages, and I'm really thankful for both of you guys to submit. Thank you for submitting. I appreciate it. What's up, Annie? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, and thank you all of you guys for being here every week. This week, I do want to create something cool. Last week we created, before I leave Discord, let me see if I have a photo of what we created last week. I don't think I shared it, but it was like when we share my style and the birds and all of that. That was really fun to do. The week before that, we created this design that felt like this collage of like a comic book. That was really cool, and I really enjoy working on that. I think that was really cool. The coolest thing about this show is that I get to kind of explore different things, and I haven't even shared this online. I've been having a problem with sharing on social media lately, where I don't know. I feel like it may be a lack of motivation with like everything that's going on. There's so much things that you can do now with design, and I've been working so hard on my business too, which has to do with design as well, that I've been feeling a little bit of a lack of motivation with like sharing what I'm doing on fun projects like this. And I have to get back into it. But, you know, I don't know why I'm saying that here, but I feel like, you know, it connects with maybe some of you guys that also feel that way sometimes. Like, oh, you know, kind of like a lack of motivation of sharing. But also, you know, keeping in mind that sharing is one of the best things that you can do for your business or for other people to know you or to grow or to put your work out there, forced to put your work out there so that other people can see it. And that's why I love that you guys are submitting on Discord every week. Lucas and Arif, which are two of you guys that are always submitting. There's other people like Marsha that always submit as well. Dino has submitted over the last few weeks. So thank you guys for always submitting and being here. All right, without further ado, let's jump into Photoshop. I'm going to create a brand new artwork, 4800 by 6000 at 300 dpi, which is the resolution that I like to work in. It doesn't have to be this size for you guys, but I feel like that's the best resolution that works for me in social media. First of all, it's the same size as a poster size, so I can print this resolution pretty well, and it comes out with really good quality. I can also post on Instagram because it's the same aspect ratio, so that works as well. And yeah, and it's an easy enough size to work on my computer with my computer specs. So that's why I like that. And that's why I'm going to use that. And I have 3 photos here. I want to make a poster, obviously inspired by football and by, well, it's called soccer here in the United States. Are you guys in the United States or in other countries? I know some of you guys are in other countries. For everybody else, it's football. And for me too, honestly. But some people from the United States know it as soccer, and I live here, so I'm kind of used to calling it both at this point. But I have these 2 photos about football. I mean, a little bit Maradona inspired. A little bit Argentina with this jersey, and I want to do something colorful. I want to do something like World Cup related, maybe using their colors, and maybe answering one of the questions that I get most often of like, how can you I don't know, create something that has a connection to a brand but also is your creative style, right? Because like, as you guys know, I live in that world a lot of like, I want to make things that are interesting, that I love. But at the same time, I want to also make something that mostly connects with brands, because I work for brands most of the time when I do poster work for them. So in this case, I want to try that with the World Cup and the World Cup branding without using their logo, not to get in any... I mean, we're not putting these anywhere, so we wouldn't get into any problem legally. By the way, I've seen a lot of issues with that, which is kind of funny. People have been getting excited about the World Cup. They've been using the logo in their businesses and things around the town, especially here in Dallas. And I've heard of a lot of people getting sued by FIFA because they're using the logo, or they're using words associated with the World Cup without paying the fees for doing that. So it's always crazy how branding works, right? It's a great tool. And that tool can bring you money to your business. So the FIFA doesn't want you to use it unless they approve it. So there's been a lot of like little scandals in my city with that happening. Mexico keeps getting close though. It looks like the second half has started already, and I'm looking right now, they almost scored right now. So it looks like it's a fun game. Lucas says, Mag, I have seen the new trend of making posters with lines. Do you know to explain it well? But I think, okay, you want to see something on that style. Can you share something on Discord? We can take a look at it. He's talking about a trend of using something with lines. I'm going with soccer. Okay. No, can you share on Discord? We can take a look at it. People are using a trend doing UFC, NBA, and other niches. Really cool. I think it's called Pixel Stretch. It's not Pixel Search. Okay, share a little photo of it, and we can take a look at it, and we can maybe create something. But I'm gonna start by just breaking down this photo, removing the background. Really easy. Just click remove background. Sometimes it works perfectly. Some of the times you have to kind of tweak it a tiny bit. Normally for this show, I just click it once, and it just does its job. And dude, it's pretty insane. I'm always I'm amazed at how well this does. Even here in the hair, you can see how good it's removing all of it. Obviously, you can make it a tiny bit more perfect. I mean, it wouldn't be any more perfect of how it's separating the image, but if you want that kind of like movie effect, you can do a pixel brush that imitates hair. And essentially what you do is that you draw the hair on top of that, and it just makes it look even more. Obviously, you have to do it with a Wacom and sample from the hair thickness for that to work. So you could do a next level of that, but I feel like this is pretty cool. I do want the ball as well, so I'm gonna create a duplicate of this image, remove the mask over here, and I'm gonna grab the ball over here. And you know what? I could do a selection around the ball, and it should be able to just select that. So let me throw it in. Let's see what that looks like. Doesn't look that great. I'd rather in this case maybe create just a sphere selection. So if you create a sphere selection, I'm pressing shift right now so I can preserve the circle aspect of it. But let's say you keep it and when you drew the sphere is out of the circle, like it often happens to me. What you can do is that you press space, and then you can drag that selection to exactly on top of the area that you want. So something like this would be good. I feel like even if I select inside of it a little bit, it's fine. That's perfect. I'm just gonna do this selection right here, and I'm gonna copy paste that. And then that's too perfect right now. But what we can do is we can do another one underneath that one. So we're duplicating the layer. And then I'm adding a blur effect to that. So Gaussian blur. And not so much. Maybe just a tiny bit like that. And that creates that feather effect outside of it that almost looks more like the photography. Down here looks a little fake. So we can put it in a little bit more. But that's looking a little bit more like it should look. Yeah, Luca, let me know when you send it on Discord. I'll take a look at. Oh, you're talking about this? Oh, yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this. So it's almost like, well, in this case, I've seen it where like people. So what they're doing here is like they're playing with the rule of thirds on the camera. So I guess it's, I don't know. I'm making this up, right? But when I saw this the first time, I was like, hey, somebody's taking a photo. And the little marks on the camera are the rule of thirds, so you can take a photo and it line up the proportions of the photo. Maybe they took that and kind of like made it play with the image. So it's a little bit of a nod to photography and a nod to kind of taking photos of sports and breaking that, which is really cool. So that's what I thought it was. I was like, oh, this is reaching like a niche of like photographers / designers, people that understand what these lines are, right? Because if you don't know what the lines are, you might think there's like a football net or something that's happening. Yeah, but that's a really cool trend. And I feel like it's cool, and it's pretty simple to make, right? It's like you're making the rule of thirds, which you do by measuring the aspect ratio of your canvas and then drawing those lines. And you can do it with, let me turn this on. We can do it with just, I'm going to do an example here. But this is how I would make this, right? You make it with just the line tool. Just drawing simple lines. Let me see if I can. I always have issues moving these lines after I draw them because they're so thin. It's like impossible to move. But yeah, so like if you have them like this, and then like that, right? It's a rule of thirds type of deal. And then I don't know if you can do this in Photoshop. I've never tried to do this in Photoshop, but going into here and adding a point, yeah, you can. And then adding maybe another point here. We'll see. Where is it? Oh, no. I'm trying to stretch this without stretching the points around. I don't know why it's not letting me. Oops. Let me go back real quick. I'm trying to add a point there. Maybe. Yeah, you do it with the plus icon, but maybe I want to. I mean, essentially it would be this, but keeping this straight. And I'm going to delete the other line in 1 second here. What's going on? There it is. Okay. I was like, what's happening? And then, oh, there's a third. That's what's happening. I was like, man, what's going on here? Okay, there's a third line over here, and then I'm going to delete here in a second. So yeah, just being creative and playing with these lines, right? And then doing the same thing up here, maybe with the head or maybe the arm. But something like this would be. Yeah, Lucas says he finds it cool that you can kind of like be creative and play with the very simple image. Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. We'll keep these lines over here. So a cool little exploration. I have Pinterest open because I want to look for some like real life, like in the moment inspiration. Also, I want the World Cup branding to be here just so we can see the colors they're using. They're using these really cool colors, and they're using this whole effect of this ripple effect. Maybe we can use some of it. Maybe not. I'll keep it here in the background, just so we can have it. And let's look at some of the inspiration here from different things that we can do. I mean, I don't know. None of this is pre-planned, like I've always said. I have a font actually that feels pretty similar to these like organic shapes. This font is called Geo. Let's use that. Let's use that font. What can we spell on that? Let's spell World Cup. World Cup. I'm gonna do it red right now so we can see it. And I want this text to be under the player. Yeah. And let's change it to that font that I'm talking about so you guys can see it. It's really cool. It's called Geo. Oops. Changing it in the wrong place. Yeah, this is it. World Cup. Boom. And then I'm gonna make it huge behind the player. Because in reality, I kind of want to use it as a texture more than an actual font. Yeah, and we are already kind of breaking the mold already of the brand of FIFA, because their branding for this World Cup is very, very clean. It was one of the things that made people upset when they presented this branding. It was that it felt maybe too clean, and the 2-6 felt like kind of like almost too square, right? But I think I like that actually. I feel like that's a cool touch. Especially now with seeing how the brand has developed, I feel like it's a really cool thing. One cool trick that you guys can use when putting something together, if you don't know the colors, or if you don't have predetermined colors yet, and you're putting an asset in and it feels out of place, just pick a color from your existing photo. Any color really would work well. Like for example, this red or even this white, just so you can keep the asset in there and it doesn't bother you as much. And then we can maybe start playing with it. Another thing that I like from this photo that I don't want to forget is this shadow. I feel like the shadow is really cool. So let's try to make a selection of that shadow and copy paste it into our thing. And this is starting to look kind of vintage, which is kind of cool. And I want to bring a little bit of the World Cup colors into it. Some of you guys didn't tell me what teams you're going with. I think only Arif told me, and Lucas is Brazilian. So we got a couple of Brazilian fans here. But anybody else, what teams are you going with? What do you like? Are you excited about the World Cup? Some people don't care too. It's like it's totally cool. I always get this message from Meta during my lives. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, how you feeling about the World Cup. If you care, if you don't care. This is really cool. I love this kind of like how colorful these are. Maybe we can apply the World Cup colors, but in this kind of way where it kind of fades into each other. I feel like it could be really cool. Let's try that out real quick. So instead of like, because the most predictable thing here to do would be to maybe duplicate this guy a few times. Apply the FIFA colors to the guy. Let's try that out so we can see it. But then let's try a different route after that, right? So maybe this red, because this might be really cool too. That's kind of what I had in mind. I mean, honestly, the best way to do it. I'm always used to just drawing with my brush, but you can color pick. I think color picking will be a little wiser here since we're doing it a few times. So we're gonna change the next one to, I want to follow the same order so it feels more like the World Cup. And let's create that same gap. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Creating that shadow a little bit more. Okay. Let's do blue now. Perfect. I feel like this would be the most effective way to do to kind of imitate the branding without actually copying the 26 or anything else. How do you guys feel about this screen? This screen is pretty loud, but it works. I mean, it works really well with this branding, and it does feel pretty modern. The cool thing about the World Cup is that it's an event that you can afford to be modern with when it comes to branding, because it starts and ends with one event. Like, there is no continuity to the World Cup to this specific branding. So you can do a branding that can be as current as possible. When I say current, what I mean is like it's as it's as 2026 as it gets. It doesn't matter that it gets old quickly, because it's really about the event, the single event, right? When you're making brandings, you have to make sure that it lasts forever, or that the look is not getting older soon, all of that. But that's not a problem that we need to have with the World Cup specifically, because it's an event. So I think, in that sense, I do like that a lot. Okay, so this is what that looks like. I think it's okay. How did the branding for the World Cup? Who did the branding for the World Cup? I have no clue. I heard it was like a company from the United States. I think that's what I heard. Does anybody know? I have no clue. Idar is sharing my my Instagram. Go ahead and give me a follow. If you haven't, let's connect in there. I'm posting, like I said, I haven't posted in a little bit on Instagram because I've been doing other things with my business primarily. But we can connect through there. You can go to my Behance as well, and we can connect through there. It's always good to stay connected and to hear from you guys also in what you guys are doing. But yeah, I don't know who did the branding for the World Cup. I heard it was an American company. I remember when they released it about 3 years ago or so, and how much people were like freaking out about it. But I do like it now. Okay, one thing that I do want to try with this is like after we created this like multiple rainbow-ish effect, I'm going to combine it all into one group so we can do something a little bit more fun with it. Yeah, and let's see what that is. I don't even know what it is yet, but let's move this to the metal a little bit. I think it could be fun if we mix this ultra modern style with a little bit more vintage style. Like already these letters in the back are giving more vintage look. How else do they use the branding for the World Cup? Let me see. So they have these solid colors, these beautiful colors. They have these stripes in the back. It looks like, what else? Okay, so March is sharing that it was made and led by the Look company. And then you see agencies like Mom and Factory were tapped for global brand launches and immersive installations, I guess, or like deployments of the brand itself. But the Look company made the actual kind of logo. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's very unconventional for how normally FIFA events look like, which they look a little bit more like the logo right here on the right. That feels more like a non-profit or like a global celebration versus a company look, or like a more like established logo look, or more aggressive like this, which I think is what makes it a little bit unique, and also very very North America looking as well. Okay, so this is what I was thinking for this. Maybe we can, and I don't know if it's going to crash my computer or not, so let me go ahead and save this real quick. But I was thinking to maybe stretch some of these pixels here. Yeah, how do you guys feel about this? I mean, I feel like this is cool, but it's also, I don't know how much we could do it. Let me make a copy of it just in case. Because what I'm thinking is that maybe we do this, but maybe we can keep the back and the front separated a little bit. Looks like a worldwide company with offices and several locations throughout Canada and the US and the Middle East. Very cool. There's a lot of big companies out there that are doing really cool work, especially when it comes to like branding and things like that. Everything's changing so much in the atmosphere of branding, like media in general, visual effects, visual work. Yeah, there's so much change happening in with everything that's happening with AI as well. It's really cool to see people innovating, people doing new things, and yeah, and companies like this are always in the front of doing all these different things. So that's really cool. This is what I wanted to do. That's why I made a copy of this. I feel like if we can delete some of the top and the bottom like this to make it look like the effect is happening behind. And Mexico and South Africa still 0-1. Mexico still winning by 1 goal. They haven't been able to score again. It looked like they were going to score multiple times, but they haven't been able to, which is something that happens to Mexico a lot, to be honest. They start the game very aggressive and doing really good, and then they kind of fall into a slower part where they just, I don't know if they're not trying hard enough, or maybe they get a little comfortable, or maybe they just gas out for starting too hard, and then they end up tying the game. But hopefully that doesn't happen today. Hopefully they keep going. But yeah, it's always the thing with Mexico. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm gonna delete this part of this one as well. So I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to keep the top layer, which I just realized this is the bottom layer and this is the top layer. So I should have done this reversed, right? Yeah, we should have done this reversed. Let me go ahead and do it real quick. Let me see. So I think we have to mix. Yeah, this is supposed to be the front and that is supposed to be the back. So Mexico just scored, guys. 2-0. Let's go. Let's go, Mexico. I'm happy for Mexico. That's great. I'm happy they score, honestly. I was scared primarily for how upset my wife was going to be if they didn't. She gets very passionate about the Mexico team specifically, obviously. So I'm so happy they score right now. Mexico's winning 2-0. Let's go. I'm happy about that. Cool. All right, so this is the option number 1 with the colors. Let's make a background color of this real quick. Color overlay. Yeah, let me make it a cool color over here. I don't know if blue. What do you guys think? Blue, or maybe we need to make it something super colorful. I like how it's turning out. I like the color effect. It's really cool. Yeah, I feel like it's mixing a little bit of the World Cup look with tiny bit more vintage style because of these letters primarily in the back. Which, by the way, let's make them a different color. Since we're doing that, let's just make it this fights too much with the composition. Maybe we make it something like this. We also will need to we'll probably need to. There's a problem with resizing one image like this after doing an effect like that. I want to push it more to the right. Okay, let's do the same thing with this. Make a copy just in case. Keep it up here. And then let me drag this. I don't know if it's working on this one. I want it to be a little softer. maybe. Okay, I'm gonna move these all the way underneath our player. I mean, this is an idea. This is the most obvious idea, I feel like. So I feel like this could be a good option, but at the same time, it's not like, I don't know. In my brain, I like how it looks. It almost feels too obvious, right? Or am I crazy for thinking that way? Almost feels too like, okay, yeah, like that's what you would do for something like this. Maybe it's also because I do this all the time too, so maybe I'm feeling that way because of that. Let's think of another option that we could do. Okay, let's group these real quick. Let's put it over here. I do like the simplicity of this. I feel like this is like super cool. Let's make a box over here with some text just to see what it looks like. So we'll do FIFA World Cup 2026, USA, Mexico, Canada. And let's just do an Arial font. Let's do bold. And let's change the stacking to this. So it looks really cool. And then do a spacing a little bit bigger between them. That looks cool. Let's repeat that down here. Yeah, I feel like that, you know, has a clean, very clean look. Obviously, it's not, doesn't have a ton of design in it. Yeah, that's the, I mean, that's the balance, right? Of like, oh, do you want to make something that feels very colorful or very expressive? Or do you want to make something that is a little bit more, in a way, delicate? I would say maybe delicate is not the word, but it's a little bit more intentional. And that's one of the hard things right now for me with design is that I come from a very maximalist. I've come from a very maximalist style for a long time. And now I'm turning into more of a, I want things to be a little bit more pure and simple. So yeah, it's just a little bit different, right? And the approach. And what I'm trying now is I'm trying to separate this, kind of similar to what we've done in some of the past episodes. So you can see some of the color coming through a little bit. I feel like it helps that vintage effect a tiny bit. And then anything that we draw, we can either apply it to that or to apply it to the background. And we can maybe layer some things like that. Yeah, we can layer some colors over here. Kind of like this. Let's apply some of the red. Let me turn back on the all of the colors so that I can see them. I just need to be able to copy them real quick. Just trying to copy some of these colors. Yeah, because that's another way where we can bring in some of the FIFA World Cup colors without making it any similar to their brand, but at the same time using the brand colors, right? Let me see. We have the purple already. Let's apply the blue. Do a little bit of the blue, like a line like that. Maybe on the hand over here. Or maybe we make the hand red. What I'm doing here, just so you guys know, is I'm applying this with the round brush soft, and I'm doing the dissolve effect so that it applies with that kind of like noise to it. And because I have two layers here, I have this one that is selecting all of the different blues on the color. I have that layer on top, and it's helping a lot. So yeah, I do like it too. For Idara and Lucas is saying that you guys like the color effect. I do like it as well. I do feel like, you know, at least for me, like I was saying, it's probably too much of a, I've done this too many times kind of feel, which is totally dumb because, you know, It's such a introspective thought of like, hey, this is something that I do a lot. I don't want to do it again. And I think it still is a really cool effect. I just wanted to to create something a tiny bit different, especially also different than the current World Cup look, which I feel like that look has too much of a similar look to the World Cup right now. Like, it's too clean, and this kind of vintage look, I feel like it's a little bit more of a, I don't know, of the vibe, right? That I want to imitate here a little bit more. So let me do a little bit of this orange as well. I'm gonna do it a little bit smaller, do it around the ball. I can't get away from doing the things that I do already in my art, which is really cool. Yeah, but I feel like this resonates with me as far as like, okay, it has a little bit more of a World Cup look, but at the same time, it also has a feel of like something new, right? And then we can apply one of the newer effects like clarity dehaze or color vibrance, which I'm going to apply to our player over here, because I can colorize him a little bit more, either vintage. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it. But I can colorize him a little bit more vintage looking, or, you know, depending on what I want to do. I feel like something like that would be cool. Yeah. Okay, this is a cool look right now. I like it. Let me change the background to a different color just to see. I'm liking how this is looking. I promise I'm not going to destroy it. I just want to see something real quick. It's more, yeah, it is fresher. It just feels a little bit more, yeah, clean, straightforward, easy to read, easy to interpret what it is. Right now, some of these words up here with the black could be changed to maybe a red to match a little bit better, or blue, maybe, or even the black matches the shadow a little bit. I feel like that could work. Let me see. Okay, this is where I feel like this is good. We could keep going. I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna make a copy of it instead of like, I'm not gonna keep going on top of it, because sometimes you keep going on top of it and it doesn't. You end up hurting it more. I did have an idea as I was making this of like, it looks like he's flying in the air. It could be really cool to have some symbols flying behind him. Again, this could be a terrible idea. This could be a great idea. So let's go into Pinterest and take a look at some inspiration. The symbols that I imagine are more like more traditional, like simple shapes. Honestly, the shape that I saw in my brain was a Louis Vuitton logo type of deal. But obviously it's not what I want. But some flowers maybe, like a flower effect or something. We created something a few shows ago, I remember. Let me go real quick into into our shows. I think a few episodes ago, I know so. We created something that had a lot of flowers, right? Am I remember correctly? Maybe we can grab some of those flowers instead of going into. I mean, we made these, but before this, we made a. Okay, we had this one that had this sort of flowers. It wasn't really flowers. Now this one. We've created some really cool designs on the show, guys. Okay, maybe if I cannot find the flowers that I'm talking about, I think I'm gonna go straight on and just create a few of them. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and take a screenshot of this, and maybe open Illustrator, which I don't have open right now. I restarted my computer right before the show, just to make sure that everything was running smoothly, and I closed all my software. But I'm gonna open Illustrator right now, and what I want to do is that I want to gonna plan out a little bit of what I'm seeing in my brain and communicate it to you guys and see if we can create some flowers to go really well with it. And then we'll go from there. Oh, concept 2. Oh, that might have been exactly what we needed. Let me see. It's like a sketch. So it's like a sketch thing. It's cool. It's a new thing on Illustrator. So you go concept to vector, and when you click on it, just generate. Let's see it. I haven't seen this. So it looks like you have a concept, and then you create. It can create a vector version of it for you. Dude, this is awesome. Sometimes people don't know how to vectorize something like this. That's what I'm telling you guys. If you guys are getting started, they should have hired me. Thank you, Marsha. You're so kind. If you are coming up with like with a design and you're coming up in this design industry and world and you don't know what's happening, you have to learn all these different things like vectorizing things and photo compositing and all these different things. You're probably in the best time that's ever happened to getting to design. Because right now you can have projects like this where you're like, hey, I don't know how to vectorize something or take it from a sketch to vector. And you can use tools like this. How awesome is this tool? It's taking a while now. I don't know if my computer's freaking out. Oh, there it is. Dude, that's awesome. I think this is amazing. Like the fact that it can make this in vector, so you can see it's all vector, from a sketch to fully vectorize. To me, that's mind-blowing. Because I'm somebody that, and I didn't know this was here when I opened Illustrator, but I'm somebody that's very practical, and I love spending time learning the craft, learning the art. Still do that. But the truth is, like, to make a character like this, you already have to have certain level of like character design, how things are laid out, like a certain level of like understanding of art or character design or something like that, where it's like space and beauty. So you already have some notion of it. And then there's the beauty of like translating that into vector. It's another discipline that's really cool. But if you can skip a few steps and land on something like this right off the gate, and then I can come in and say, hey, I like this, but I want the eyes to be, to have a white glow, kind of like that. And I want to duplicate kind of like the stuff inside the eyes to be a certain color. You can still modify these things and go to work, but you have a really good starting point where you don't have to do this whole thing. And I feel like I feel like we're in the golden age of like getting into design, because there's so many doors opening and things are changing every day. But anyways, enough of my little rant. We only have 10 minutes left, or around 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so. So I'm gonna throw in my image over here. I don't know what all of this is. I'm gonna delete it all. And then what I was thinking about is that I wanted my character to be, so imagine like they are, he's like something coming out of his like shirt or like his uniform, kind of like this. But it could be like cool flowers, like looking flowers. Maybe something that has to do with the country or something. I don't know what the country would be. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, space-wise. Something like this, and then we can colorize it to make it look like it's blending with his body. Okay, now we have to make that little flower or whatever that thing is. I want to make it. So maybe we do objects on a path, which is a pretty simple tool. You grab a circle and then you grab other circles. Like for example, I want these to be my flower petals or whatever. And then you click on the path and you add them to it, right? So pretty simple, pretty easy to do. And then you can also rotate them, create new things. I don't know why it's not letting me add more. There was another tool, right? Am I crazy, guys? You guys remember another tool that when you drag this, it lets you add as many as you want? Which tool am I thinking of? Does anybody know? I can't remember what it is. But I'm sure there's a tool like that. I always, with Illustrator, because I don't use it for, I use it for creative work, but I use it more for like brandings and stuff like that. I'm always like relearning things or remembering things as I work. Versus Photoshop, I feel like both softwares are the same. I forget things all the time of how I'm doing things, how I used to do them, and then I learn them again, and then there's new things that you can do. So yeah, that's the fun part of it too. I feel like that is a cool part of it. All right, maybe I'm overdoing these flowers. I'm trying to do something cool here. Yeah, maybe maybe this is too complex. That's what I'm trying to say, especially for a small little flower like this. But I'm gonna group it, and then I'm gonna make this, instead of the same color as the background, I'm gonna make them blue. Yeah. And I'm gonna make the red pretty intense right now. We'll make it like this orange. Feel like that works. So we're gonna replace maybe this one with that one. I don't know if this is gonna work. Dalia Pinada was officially the designer, the national flower of Mexico. Oh, designated. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the logo. So it was designated the official flower of Mexico. The Dahlia. I had to do the baseball that I did for the Rangers, and I had to study all the different flowers from all different countries. Let me look at it. Oh, it's this one right here. Yeah. Really cool. That's when I did a lot of the flowers. I did them for the Texas Rangers projects that I did. I did those cool looking flowers for that. We should have probably used those since I already had them all designed. I could have just brought them in here. I just don't even know where I have that right now. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have them on the project folder, but let's see if I can just the Texas Rangers, maybe. That's what happens when you have ideas in the middle of the show. You're like, I want to create something cool, and then you just jump into it, and sometimes you cannot find it. Texas, let me see. No, I don't know where it is. Maybe here? The Texas Rangers. The Rangers. I don't know what they are. Okay, let's keep creating them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll just keep going. I get distracted way too fast, guys. Okay, let's do this. Little flower. Yeah, we can even do that. And then round some of the corners too. I think that works. I'm gonna add the thing in the middle. This is one of the best things on Illustrator. It's like you can kind of like play with what the shapes that, as you're creating them, you can play with them. I love that. I feel like that is one of my favorite things about Illustrator. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna replace this one with this one. Yeah, maybe the flowers need to be a little nicer. We'll do a circle in the middle of this one, maybe. And to be fair, they're pretty simple. I'm not creating any ground breaking flowers over here. And that's what I'm thinking. Should they be a little bit more simple? Because this one when I was creating, I was like, it's way too much. Like it's too much of a if you can even call it flower. It's too much of an expressive thing with the ring in the middle. It just feels like too much. Maybe they just all need to be a little bit more like this one. Maybe that's the baseline. Yeah, we'll keep this the baseline. Let's just make this real quick just to see if the idea even makes sense before I'm committing to like looking for a ton of different files or flowers or anything like that. Okay. Group this thing. Let me group this one. Let me group that one. Mexico's still winning 2-0. They haven't scored any goals. Any more goals. But I think South Africa is down 1 man. Yeah, it took like 2 men. They're down 2 men. That's crazy. Yeah. Down to 9 players. South Africa is down to 9 players. The game's about to be done. And we're also about to be done, guys. Dude, I forgot we're in the timer here, and I'm just taking my time, sweet time, creating these flowers. Yeah, I'm thinking something like this could be cool. Okay, maybe these flowers are not the best for this, but the concept, this is what I had in mind, right? Something like that. Let me put it over here. Let me replace some of these flowers and then take it into Photoshop real quick and add a little bit of color into it. And then we'll wrap up today's episode. With this, I'll see if I could advance this a little bit more, maybe for next show you guys if this works. Let me add this on top of this. Yeah, I feel like something like this could be really cool, especially if we added a little bit more color in Photoshop and a little bit more magic to it. I feel like this could be really cool. And then also we could tilt some of these as well. Maybe like that. Maybe we'll tilt this one as well. Just tilt them a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Let's bring it into Photoshop real quick. I'm going to drop it all the way in the top. We're about to wrap this up. Thank you guys again for being here. Another episode. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch the game or finish watching the game. But the game's about to be over anyways. I don't think I'll catch any of the game. But it was so good hanging out with you guys and seeing you again. Thank you for being here. I missed you guys. Last week we didn't have a show because Adobe had the 99U conference, and that was really cool. I saw some of the highlights and some of the things, and I thought it was amazing. And I missed you guys last week, but next week we'll be here again, another episode, and we'll be playing a little bit with something else, another concept. If you want to see something specifically, please send it to me on Discord. I'd love to see your recommendations and the things that you guys are liking or thinking of, or effects that you guys are seeing on the internet that you want to explore here maybe in the show and hang out. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching me create this poster. I really liked it. I feel like it has a lot of potential also to keep expanding on this concept. I'm gonna go ahead and save it. And thank you guys one more time for another great Thursday. I'll see you guys next week. Don't be a stranger. Say hi on Discord. Ciao.